So either way, for those of you that don't know me, my name's Ian. I'm a fireman full-time for the city of Baltimore. What? Hey, what? No, that's actually, let me fix it. Thank you guys, you Life and Air guys in here. Finally broke me. I left the fire department. Yep. I left the fire department about 3 weeks ago. Finally, after a long battle. We can discuss that out back. A lot of discussion. Either way, investing since 2013. We own a bunch of stuff, single family, multi, industrial, commercial, office space. Value adds usually our wheelhouse, what we really enjoy doing. It's where we can insert most of our background. Local to Baltimore, we have about 200 residential units, plus or minus, a couple 100,000 square feet of industrial and office space. Got involved into storage through Mike Casey. We went to another guy's event who does not have long hair, started exploring storage, bought our first deal in January of 20. Today, we're about 200,000 square feet in the Little Rock market, two other deals down in Baton Rouge, getting ready to buy about another 300,000 square feet down in the Baton Rouge marketplace here in about 2 weeks. So that's why I had to quit my job so I could have more time. So either way, there's a bunch of ways to structure deals, right? And a lot of people, I was just talking to Chris Michaels before. I'm gonna get my hippie on, I took my shoes off. But either way, Chris Michaels, we were just talking about another deal structure, right? Like, a lot of discussion that's been going on. There's a lot of ways to structure deals. And there's a traditional way, there's outside the box ways, there's a billion different ways. So the first one, obviously, is you could self-fund your own deal, right? You don't need a partner. You don't need to answer to anybody except your own inner soul, and you can decide if you're doing the right thing or wrong thing. Then there's partnerships, right? A lot of guys in here, I'm involved in partnerships. A lot of guys in here are involved in partnerships. There's joint ventures. Someone say, well, what's the difference between a joint venture and a partnership? Joint venture could be something where it's just a one-time deal. You're going out. Me and John and Pardo, we did a joint venture on a deal. Technically, maybe if you want to look at Ken's business model, could technically be a joint venture with his business partners. Then there's this syndication PPM model, more of what we're doing for a lot of the stuff that we got going on. That's where you get more in traditional. There's also funds, syndication, PPM, funds. And then ultimately you got the REITs, right? You could go to the stock market, you can buy public storage, you can buy all the big boys out there. It's another way, technically, you can invest in real estate if you wanted to. So for me, there's what I call a decision tree, right, Terry? We talked about the trauma decision tree yesterday, why you ended up where you ended up, right? Like you need to have some sort of matrix to figure out what you're gonna do with your deal. First thing I always do, like we were discussing earlier today, was, does the deal work for you? You need to have what's laid out for you. What's your parameters that you want to work through? What's the returns you're looking for? Is it close to me? The lifestyle guys in here, does it fit your lifestyle? Can you get in the RV, a plane? Can you travel the country for the whole year? What works for you? If yes, right, like if this deal works for me, if yes, what's the next thing I'm gonna do? Next thing is, well, how are we gonna structure the deal, right? Like we can go back, hopefully I hit the right button. We go back to one of these or something else, how are you gonna structure the deal? And that's an important piece here. After that, once you figure out how you're gonna structure the deal, and these can be fluid, but how are you gonna fund the deal, right? Like that's something that you need to consider very early on. And I don't think a lot of people consider that necessarily. They see the deal, they get blinded by the light, you get tunnel vision, you end up down this road, and then you're like, crap, I need to figure out how to fund this deal, and I've already agreed to a ton of stuff. That's something that you should be discussing early on when you're looking at your deal, and understand what your capability and what your bandwidth is. For me, when I'm working stuff, I'm always looking at debt before equity. Can I raise this deal with just debt and protect as much equity as I can? For us personally, that's just what works, because we like to try to retain as much equity. It's not a greed thing. It's really, hey, if you have a circle of friends and they're willing to give you debt and you can secure them and you can look them in the eye and say, hey man, this is a good deal and this is what's gonna work, they might trust you to do that. There's advantages to equity, but you gotta remember what you're doing when you're giving up equity. The next question is, after you've done all this, is, okay, if the top line is if it was yes, how do we structure it? Well, okay, if it's no, this deal doesn't work for me, what do we do? How can you monetize the lead? I think a lot of people are like, and I know it's hard when you're looking at listed deals that you're like, it's a listed deal, I can't really do anything with it, and you just toss it to the side. I mean, where's Mike's map, wherever it got to, right? There's all these people all over the country. Hey, Russ, did you see this deal, right? Like up in Michigan or wherever it is. And maybe there's a way, just having that conversation because you brought them a lead, you get monetized, or you drive all the way somewhere and you get kicked to the curb. But either way, how can you monetize the lead? You know, can you partner with someone in this room, right? There's a lot of guys in this room. I know a lot of guys are doing stuff. Can you wholesale it? Can you wholetail it? There's a lot of things that you can do here. Now, if you get to that next line and it's if no, right, to both, well, what can you do? Can you renegotiate? What is a deal that works for you? Can you retrade the deal? A lot of discussion about owner financing, 0% interest, leaving the owners in the deal as some sort of equity share to get you to the cost basis to where you want to be. You don't need to bring as much money to the table. You know, will they owner finance it? If not, after you've wasted all this time, hopefully it's not a ton of time, now you're dumping the lead.